Okay, once again, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Visit St. Pete Clearwater Media Center, wrapping up the Firestone Grand Prix of St. Petersburg, presented by RP Funding. Our champion this year, Alex Palou, will be joining us here momentarily, as will his teammate Scott Dixon, but joined now by Josef Newgarden, of course, driving the number 2 PPG Team Penske Chevrolet with his 4th podium here at St. Pete, 59th career podium, excuse me, one behind the great Johnny Rutherford for 17th all-time. Josef lit 2 laps today. How would you describe the start to 2025? I'm sure if they would have told you ahead of time you get a podium finish, you might take that, although you'd love a win, but still.
Yeah, it's a good day. I mean, podium's always solid. And I think I said that on Friday when I was in here that, ultimately we need a good day just to get points on the board. That's kind of going to be most important for this weekend. So we accomplished that. Can't be too dissatisfied. I think we had some miscues in the race today for sure, just a couple fueling wise, but the team still did a stellar job. It starts with a foundation of a fast car, and, we certainly have had that all weekend, and it definitely felt like it was intact in the race. So, very solid overall. Just wish we could have capitalized on the positioning. We were in a good position today to challenge for the win and just, misstepped a little bit, but really proud of the team and the way they started, built awesome cars. We can go on with that now and feel confident at least to challenge for wins in the future. And, putting good points on the board is always the key. So we can leave here with a solid result.
Good start to 2025, and we welcome in Scott Dixon as well, driver the number 9. Chip Ganassi Racing, PNC Bank Honda, who led 5 laps today. 5th runner-up finish here at St. Pete. 8th podium at St. Pete as well. 143 now career podiums, which extends his already INDYCAR Series record. And we heard you on TV say you didn't have any radio. Was that the entire race or just towards the late
radio,
stages?
No radio for the entire race. So it was kind of tough, just to see what we were doing kind of mileage-wise. I knew it was going to be a lot tighter, obviously, once the first caution happened. It was going to be a strict kind of 2-stopper. Kind of worked on the warm-up laps and then maybe for the first kind of 10, and I think that was about it. But ultimately cost us the race, I think, with not coming in when I should have. I think with about maybe the same lap as Alex, we caught that traffic with about 5 or 6 cars and lost about 2 or 3 seconds on that in lap. So that was a bit of a nightmare. And yeah, I don't know. Car was good. I think pit stops were really good. I think all round, we had good speed. I think any time that we had clean air, we could definitely stretch out. But spent most of the race in dirty air. But yeah, just I don't know. It's kind of the first time I've ever done a whole race without a radio, so that was interesting, and glad we got some good points and a nice 1-2 for the team.
A bit old school, all told, maybe, yeah.
Needed some like a lap board out there or something.
We'll open it up for questions. We've got Joanne, we've got Hannah with wireless microphones. If you've got a question, raise your hand. We'll start here with Bob Pockrass, and then Patrick, back to you. Go ahead, Bob.
Bob Pockrass, Fox Sports. Scott, so did you just know how to pit? Did they signal to you, or did your fuel gauge show and you just pit?
Yeah, you have a fuel light, so you can run to when the car's going to run out. So I didn't know if they could hear me, so I was just telling them I'm just going to run to the light and see what happens. Ultimately, I think for me it was just 1 lap too long. I should have pitted maybe when I saw the 10 car coming in.
And you're not required to have a spotter here on a road course.
No,
so did you miss not having somebody in your ear, or do you not want anybody in your ear anyway?
I was hoping, well, it's nice in the race, right? Just to understand, who's doing what strategy everybody's on. Even when you start to catch, I think when I caught Rossi and maybe Lundgaard, I kept trying to ask, how many laps have they got to go before we can get some clean air and kind of push. Because it's very tough to just get a pass going here. So, none of that information. I just had to kind of guesstimate, that they were maybe 5 or 6 laps offset from us, which, it seemed like the 20 was, but the 7 wasn't. So he went a couple laps more. But yeah, it just it makes it difficult because especially with mileage, for us, on the IMSA side or sports car side, you kind of have a pretty good gauge for understanding where you need to be. But with this thing, you have no idea.
And finally, for both of you guys, how are you going to beat Palou for the title?
Get a radio that works, I think we'll be away.
I'm sorry. That is an incredible question. Bob, it's round one. I know this is your first race here, but it's round one, dude. Let's see how it goes.
Towards the back, gentleman in the yellowish shirt. Go. Oh, there you go. Thanks, Hannah.
And then ran. Physical difficulties out there, or how was the track, alternate rubber?
Joseph, you want to take a crack at it?
Oh, pretty straight. I mean, very similar to last year, I would say. You know, I don't know how everyone else feels, but to me, it felt similar track conditions. You know, good temperature, great track build. It's kind of typical St. Pete. It just grips up like crazy here in the race. Certainly throughout the weekend and in the race, it kind of takes another level, you know, throughout each stint. So pretty straightforward. Yeah, felt like typical St. Pete. You know, you just got to get the cycling correct and get yourself in position. Obviously didn't have as much chaos with a lot of restarts. Sometimes that can jumble things up. Really just had a pretty straightforward day. Just needed to get the cycles right.
Scott, do you think, there we go. Do you think Firestone, you know, IndyCar may want to have Firestone come back a step? I mean, a tire you can't even get 10 laps out of kind of defeats the purpose of having a second tire, doesn't it?
No, I think that's good. It's got to be difficult. I think some cars could maybe get 20 laps, you know, some maybe 10. I never got to experience it because I was kind of done and dusted with, you know, after the restart. You know, I was switched out. So I think I only did 1 or 2 laps on the green and only half a lap on green, on track. So yeah, I don't know. I never really got to experience it in warm up. You know, I think it's good. You got to have degradation. I think, you know, if you had a race that went from green to checker, you know, that would have definitely spiced it up. Whereas in the past, it wouldn't have. So I think it's good.
More questions here in person? Go ahead. Thanks, Joanne.
Tucker White, SpeedwayMedia.com. Scott, at a track like St. Petersburg, where the overcut is traditionally the favored move, what made the undercut work so well compared to the overcut for your teammate Alex Palou?
The traffic. I caught about 5 or 6 cars, I think, on my end lap. I think I lost about 2 or 3 seconds just on my end lap. They did the right thing. They could see the traffic coming. You know, I had no communication, so I didn't know. I'm sure they were trying to call me in, but you know, as soon as you catch them, you know, the undercut is going to be pretty strong if you especially pop out into clear track.
Thanks for the question. We've got one up here in the second row. Thanks, Joanne. Got time for 1 or 2 more. Go ahead, Nathan.
Question for both of you, Scott. I know this is your 5th time finishing runner-up here, 8 total podiums. When you come into this race weekend, does it matter anymore that you haven't yet won on this track? Is it one that would really mean a lot to finally get a win at some point in these next couple of years?
Yeah, I'm pretty pissed off, man. I think we had a good race. We had a good race going, and you know, we didn't get it done. So yeah, doesn't feel good, that's for sure.
And Joseph, what were you going through the last lap or 2 when you started to fall away from Alex?
I mean, we just had fuel miscues today 2 times. The second one, we had a shift that was unexpected with a lap to go, and we just had to hit the emergency button, which was unfortunate. We kind of started that last lap like half emergency mode, and then they said, like, you just have to pull the chute here, like, just finish. So, yeah, I mean, it happens. It's unfortunate. You know, to have miscues like that and to still finish third, I think is a great day in a lot of ways. So really, really pleased to come out of here with points. Just, you know, obviously there was a lot more that could have been.
Knowing what you were returning to this track after winning and then having the win stripped away last spring, would a win have meant any more? Were you any more motivated coming into this weekend?
No.
Thanks.
One more question, final call in person for our second or third place finisher. Bruce, you have something? No? Okay. Here we go. Scott and Joseph will cut you free. Thanks, guys. We'll see you in a couple of weeks at Thermal Club. I want to bring up Chip Ganassi, the owner of Chip Ganassi Racing. Chip's team now with 137 victories as they eye, of course, another championship. Great start to that as Alex Palou takes a 10-point lead into race number 2 of the 17, all told. And Chip, just your thoughts on really getting off to a 1-2 start for you guys and a good start to 2025.
Yeah, really good for us here in St. Pete. Not one of our favorite tracks. We've been challenged here the last number of years, and really happy. It was a tough race. To be, we were back. Both Scott and Alex were back 22 seconds. I know at one point, from the lead. Certainly there were 2 different strategies going, but you don't want to be. We were getting held up a bit early on, and that damn near bit us at the end of the race. Yeah.
Questions for Chip?
All good.
Yeah, Bob's got one. Thanks, Joanne.
Thank you.
Bob Pockris, Fox Sports. Do you view this win as a sign that even if there was any reason to doubt that Alex is the guy to beat this year, that he is now?
I don't know that one race winner, makes you the. I mean, we're certainly the season favorite until next week or till the next race. I don't know that, but I don't know that that's. I don't know that. I think what I'm most happy about is, each off season, every team does work on their cars. You don't sit flat-footed all winter. You're working on your cars, trying to make them better. And I think our cars are better than they were a year ago, at least here in St. Pete. So I'm really happy with what the team did over the off season, and we came back with competitive cars. I think if you saw how we ran here the last, like I said, number of years, it wasn't great. It was okay. We hung on, but we were clearly being beat by some of the other teams, and that wasn't the case this weekend. So it was nice.
And did you know Scott couldn't hear anything on his radio during the race?
It was intermittent. The kind of thing, like you kind of, sometimes you got it, sometimes you didn't.
So were you disappointed you couldn't say anything to him during the race?
Well, I mean, it was, if everything was 100%, he would have won he would have won the race. The race was over, and then it was one stop to go, and we pitted a lap later than we wanted him to. And that was the difference between he and Palou, yeah.
Bruce.
And Chip, Alex really nailed it on that final pit stop. He was
Right.
able to get out of the pits. He was able to get out ahead of Newgarden at the blend line. And when you look at that, that's pretty close to perfection. So your thoughts on that being the key moment of the race?
Well, I'm going to tell you something. That 10-car stand has all-stars on it. And, in terms of race strategy, calling the race, communication, there's nobody better than the 10-car guys. So us on the 9-car and the 8-car, we have work to do to catch up to those guys.
Also, just how smooth Alex is and how calm he is.
Makes it look easy, doesn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, makes it look easy, doesn't sweat. Yeah.
Do you not sweat, Alex?
A little bit.
A little bit. Joined obviously by Alex Palou, who led 26 of the 100 laps, driver the number 10 DHL Chip Ganassi Racing Honda with his first win on the streets of St. Pete, the second podium, 12th career win now. And it wasn't easy by any means, but to start off 2025 like this is not a bad way to get it done, right?
Yeah, huge. Couldn't be happier, honestly. It's been a long off season and a tough off season for everybody at CGR and HRC. They've been working really, really hard to try and. I mean, we were speaking on Thursday during media or Friday that it was one of the places that we've been struggling in the past, and we wanted to get a little bit closer to the competition. So I wanted to be here in Victory Lane, but I did not expect maybe to be here in Victory Lane. So that shows the amazing job that all the men and women did at Chip Ganassi Racing during the off-season. So, 1-2 for the team. I don't know what Chip said, but I bet he's pretty happy.
You're right.
Correct. Questions for either driver, although if we can, let's prioritize Chip so he can get to his busy schedule after the race. Anyone else have one for Chip? Go ahead, sir. Go ahead with Chip. It's fine.
Tucker White, SpeedwayMedia.com. Alex, at a track like St. Petersburg, which traditionally the overcut is the favorite strategy, what made the undercut work so well for you?
Yeah, normally it's overcut, especially on a street course. Thank you, Chip.
Thanks, Chip. Thanks for coming in. Congratulations.
Especially on street courses where outlaps are really tough on cold tires. But Dixon was catching traffic at that moment. So we were going to do the opposite of the 9 car. We were trying to win. So if he was going to stay out, I was going to come to try and get advantage of the traffic he was going to get to. And if he was going to pit that lap, we were going to try and stay out and pray for traffic laps to just go fast. So yeah, got lucky this time. I'm very glad. I'm very pleased of the strategy they called. At one point, it was tough on lap 5 or 6 that we were P14. It doesn't seem too bad, but when you drop positions on a street course, it's actually tough to gain them back, and you expose yourself to mistakes or to accidents. So yeah, I was happy.
Questions for the 3-time series champion. Patrick has one towards the back. Did I miss one up here? Sorry if I did. Nathan, you good? Let's go with Nathan Brown next. Thanks, Joanne.
Alex, I know it was your first win back in 2021 when you won the season opener at Barber. But what was your experience that year, and how a season opening win can help carry you and just kind of supercharge a championship run?
It's massive. It helps like showing everybody in the building that, hey guys, like all the work that you've done means a lot, and that we start leading the scoreboard. It doesn't mean much for the championship yet, but it means a lot for the momentum that we can carry towards the next couple of races. So I think it's huge. 21 was a bit different. It was my first time with the team or leading the championship. So it was a bit of like, oh my goodness, what are we doing here? While now it's, I think we're a bit more used, and it's just about knowing the positives of starting off the year strong and heading to some tracks that we know that we've been really quick in the past.
I don't know if you've been told yet, but Scott told us in here he was without a radio for nearly the entire race, and felt like had he pitted when the team wanted him to, things might have gone a little bit differently. What did you view from racing around him during the race, and do you feel like that could have made a big difference in how things played out today?
Oh yeah, for sure. That's why, I mean, I was a bit surprised that he was going to stay out with that traffic. So, I mean, super unfortunate. We normally don't have issues like that. And when you have a strategy race like it was today, where you might have enough fuel to make it, and you don't want to always go to the end. Like as drivers, we get alarms of fuel, and then you know you need to pit, but maybe that was not the right thing for the strategy, and it was not. So unfortunate for Scott, but at least we finished 1-2.
Towards the back. Andrew, yeah, Patrick, go ahead.
So can I follow up on that? So did you know he didn't have a radio and you knew he would be going to the fuel light?
No.
Okay.
No, I learned at the victory lane that he didn't have a radio. Yeah, I didn't know at that moment.
Teams, car, communicate.
It's cutting.
And
Yeah, you have
That's,
Dixon's radio.
Patrick, do you have Scott Dixon's radio? or-
apparently I do.
Okay.
And I'm not doing it on purpose either.
No,
The 9 car, the 10 car communicate.
Yes, 9 car and 10 car and the 8 car, we communicate during the race. They can see everything from my car, fuel. I don't know if they both share exactly the lap we're going to pit if we're fighting. I mean, that would be a little bit too much, but we share everything. Like, they can see the fuel and they can see the laps that we can do with that fuel and our strategy. So yeah, we communicate.
More questions for Alex? Bob? Microphone to your right. There you go.
Bob Hockers, Fox Sports. I want to say you're top 4 in the last 4 or 5 road course races. Did your car feel as good today as it did on road and street courses last year?
Feels better. Feels much better than last time here. Honestly, yeah, I'm very, very confident on how the car felt here in St. Pete. As I said, we've always struggled here for some reason, and we got it now to feel like what I need and what we need as drivers to push and to extract 100%. That being said, I don't think that translates to other racetracks because in the past we've been struggling here, but not on other places. Yeah, I don't think that what we learned here, we can take it to Long Beach, for example.
More questions in person? Let's go, Mary, in the red.
Alex, this is the first time at St. Pete that the hybrid could be utilized. Do you utilize it very much? And what about the pass that you finally made of Stingray Rob? Did you try and use the hybrid with the push to pass? Do you ever do that?
Yeah, so it was actually big. I mean, we didn't use it here last year, but the energy that we had available each lap was a little bit bigger than what we would have had last year. So they increased that. That made it more useful on overtakes. I still don't think that it's good enough to like save it and try and make a pass, but together with the OT, it makes a difference. So yes, I did use it to overtake, and I bet all the overtakes that we've seen were using the overtake and the hybrid at the same time. Yeah.
Let's take a couple off Zoom. Hang on, Patrick. Get back to you. Archie O'Reilly, Diabond Motorsports. Go ahead with the champion today.
Thanks, Dave. First of all, Alex, you obviously got stuck behind Stingray for a little while. So just while you're in the cockpit and you are trying to pass a car at the end of the lead lap, what is kind of going through your head and how do you manage, I guess, the frustration of trying to get past?
Similar to when you're in a highway and there's somebody that is driving at like 40 miles an hour on the left and wouldn't move, and then you pass him and he's like trying to go faster than before and he passes you again, and it's that kind of frustration, especially when he is able to use the OT and you as the leader, you don't want to burn 50 seconds of OT to pass a lap car, but he can do that to try and stay in front of you, especially if he's from another engine manufacturer. So it's a shame, but honestly, I know that's the rules, and there's been some races where that was beneficial to me, like to be second and to have the first one trapped in traffic. This time I was the one that started losing my gap to Newgarden. I think it went from 5 seconds down to like 0.9, so we lost a bunch of track time, but at least we didn't lose any track position.
And kind of just to follow up on that, obviously you say that is the rule. Do you believe, and I know this has been a talking point for a while, that there should be a blue flag rule like you get in F1, for instance?
No, I don't. I wouldn't like the blue flag. I mean, yes, today I would have said, yeah, blue flag, please get this car out of the way. But there's many times where I'm last as well, and I don't want to get lapped. So I like the blue flag rule. Maybe I would modify the OT rule, because that would be, I would say more fair, because that way you don't allow the car in front of you to burn, as I said, 50 seconds of OT. Like I think Stingray went from 70 seconds of OT down to 0 in like 10 laps. So yeah, as the leader, you cannot burn all that OT because you might need it in case there's restarts or Newgarden attacking you. So yeah, I would modify some stuff, but I like the fact that you don't have to give up your position.
And just to close, do you feel like the added weight of the hybrid sort of had any impact on how difficult it was to get past?
No, I think the issue, I don't know how good of a race or how bad of a race it was in terms of overtaking. I would say that probably having the tire rule that we had here and that lap 1 incident kind of made the strategy a bit boring. Like you wouldn't see much stuff going on apart those 5-6 cars that started on blacks. But if we wouldn't have had that first lap incident, I think it would have been a great show.
Thanks, Alex. Congratulations. Cheers, Dave.
Thanks, Archie. Let's take two off of our Spanish-speaking media. Enrique from Marca. Go ahead, Enrique.
Hi, Dave. Happy to hear you again. A few words in Spanish from Alex. Alex, enhorabuena. Dos preguntas rápidas. ¿Te ha sorprendido ver a McLaughlin salir con las duras? La primera. Y luego, me decías esta semana que era importante ver cómo iba St. Pete, porque era un circuito desfavorable y iba a mostrar el buen trabajo o no tan bueno que habríais hecho en invierno. ¿Significa esto, viendo el resultado, que podemos esperar un año muy bueno de tu parte y del equipo? Gracias.
Buenas, Enrique. Sí, la verdad que nos ha sorprendido un montón toda la gente. Pensábamos que el 95% de los coches iba a salir en las alternate, en las gomas más blandas, ya que era la peor goma y en un street course que sabes que vas a tener amarillas, lo mejor es quitártelas de encima lo antes posible. Y luego, sí, ya te lo dije, ¿no? Que creíamos que habíamos hecho un paso, que creíamos que habíamos encontrado alguna cosita que nos iba a ayudar. No sabíamos cuánto, no sabíamos si en la realidad nos iba a ayudar o no. Así que es increíble. Dicho esto, sí que estoy confiado con las carreras que vienen ahora y lo que podemos mejorar en diferentes circuitos, pero no va a ser fácil para nada. Creo que tu risa al final quieres que ganemos todas las carreras. Yo también, y lo voy a intentar, pero creo que va a ser muy complicado estar ganando carreras.
Muy bien, muchas gracias. Felicidades. Thank you very much, Dave.
Of course, gracias. One more, Luis Salinas, Deporte Motor. Go ahead, Luis.
Thank you, Dave. Hi, everyone in St. Pete. Hola, Alex. Felicidades por esta primer ganada. Y te comparto un dato para que me platiques. De los primeros 10 que terminan la carrera, solamente tú y el auto número 7 utilizaron compuesto de segundo uso duro. De estas cosas que sí se pueden controlar, ¿aquí se aseguró el resultado? ¿Se aseguró tu ganada?
¿Te refieres a la elección de gomas al principio?
En toda la carrera.
En toda la carrera. Sí, al final queríamos salir con las blandas para, si había una yellow en la vuelta número 1, sacarlas y quitarlas de encima para hacer toda la carrera con las duras. Así que creo que sabíamos que al menos para nuestro coche no era bueno hacer más de 5 vueltas con las ruedas blandas, así que en teoría esa vuelta número 1, ese incidente nos ha ayudado.
Por último, vas a Thermal, todo IndyCar va a Thermal dentro de 3 semanas y tú eres el vencedor inaugural, aunque parece que esta vez sí va a haber puntos.
Sí, es bueno para nosotros, ¿no? Tuvimos un coche y un fin de semana increíble en Thermal el año pasado, perdona. Lo único malo es que todo el mundo ha aprendido de lo que hicimos, del ritmo que teníamos y han tenido un año para intentar alcanzarnos, igual que nosotros hemos alcanzado a nuestros competidores aquí en St. Pete. Pero bueno, ojalá que podamos hacer un paso más adelante y tener un buen fin de semana ahí también.
Gracias, Alex. Felicidades.
A ti.
Thank you, Dave. And finally, ending the live transmission on Fox, the new version of Alex Palou's spot is now on air. Thank you.
Oh, there you go.
Perfect.
Thanks for the update, Luis. Last call in person. All right, we got some more things for you, so stay put, including
Great.
Bruce. But congratulations on the 2025 start to the season. Congratulations. Great. Thanks, everyone.